Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to the Destiny Islands of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Yeah, this is pretty much Aqua's reason for visiting. The Light did not take her to Command Board Land, where we also fought Monstro, instead took her back to the salad days with a rather beautiful sunset on Destiny Islands, and here is where a lengthy cutscene goes on a... You know what, it's a bit of a sweet scene, so I'll just let you watch it.
Terra. Ven. I hope we're ready for the storm that's coming.
Hey, wait up! Too slow, Sora. See you at the finish line. One more time. You just got lucky. Huh? Huh?
This boy looks so sincere, just like Terra. And this one, he's a spitting image of Ven. One of you might be special enough. Hey, you two mind telling me your names?
I'm Sora.
And you?
Riku.
Someone has already passed this boy the power. Was it Terra? Sora, do you like Riku?
Of course I like him. He's my best friend.
Good. So then if something happens and Riku is about to get lost, or say he starts wandering down a dark path alone, you make sure to stay with him and keep him safe. That's your job, Sora, and I'm counting on you to do it, okay? One Keyblade is enough for any friendship. I learned it the hard way. I wouldn't wish our lives on those children. Terra, please tell me, what's to become of us?
Very somber scene. And something I do also want to bring up in terms of the Keyblade. Riku had one passed down to him, as Aqua mentioned earlier. We saw Kairi inadvertently get one from Aqua back in Radiant Garden. And Sora is the only one left without. I wonder.
Is that Mickey? How'd this happen?
Sick.
Don't worry. I'll take you back to him.
Harsh times. And if you're wondering where that takes place, this is pretty much with the whole... Mickey was under attack by Xehanort, Ventus goes to rescue him, and then Xehanort pretty much resurrects the Badlands to become the Keyblade Graveyard, so that's pretty much the point in the story that Aqua's at. And yes, much to our shame, we can't go back to Destiny Islands because it's... Well, I mean, it's weird. It's not even a world that we have yet to visit, like the Keyblade Graveyard over there, nor the land of departure, which is blocked off at this stage. So it's kind of odd, really. I don't know. It would have been fun to run around Destiny Islands, even if just for the fuck of it, but them's the breaks, I guess. Anyway, it's off to the mysterious tower. Ooh. Let me work my magic title sequence. Yes, that's right. I did all of that title sequence magic, wiggling my fingers, which you probably couldn't hear from the audio shite. But anyway, Aqua's visit does bear fruit, because not only do we get Donald and Goofy's D-Links, which I'm going to be showing off. I believe I showed off Donald's as Ventus, and I'll be showing off Goofy's as Aqua, which stay tuned for that, because it is by far one of my favourite D-Links to use when you have it all leveled up. But again, that's just all future-proofing for the time being. In the meantime, though, anything else to say? I'm not really too sure what to talk about the plot at this point, because you know what, I think I'll probably save it for a little bit afterwards, because while I don't think Aqua's story is quite as guilty as having the plot go from 0 to 100, akin to what Ventus' story sort of had, where it was basically just one thing and then plot exposition top and that's about it, it is... I don't know. Aqua has it to a lesser degree, but it is still there, and that's, I think we'll get to that as soon as we start covering, the Keyblade Graveyard, which we are getting to this part, and then I'm pretty much covering the ending next time, so... You have been warned. In the meantime, though, we still have revelations aplenty, so... stay tuned, I suppose. Anyway, up the stairs we go. Wee-haw, woohoo, and yeah. Oh no, wait, I gotta get puzzle pieces, because... I am obsessive. Whimsy! And it has Donald in his Weasley outfit. Unlike the other Weasley outfit, which has a zipper hat. Padding! As you can tell, there's not really much of anything importance that really goes on here. Because it's basically cutscenes galore for this point, and then pretty much just skip to the end.
King Mickey! Aqua, the stars bring me grave news. Master Ericus's star has blinked out. I am afraid that means he has been struck down.
The Master? But... who is responsible?
Master Xehanort and Terra.
No! That's absurd! Terra would never!
I hope with all my heart that you are right about your friend. There are some things even the stars cannot tell me.
Where is he? Where can I find Terra?
Terra's heart is leading him to the ancient Keyblade Graveyard, where wielders of those weapons once waged war.
Alright. I have to go after him, and see if it's true.
Be on your guard.
Please just be safe. I'll find a way to get you out of this. The three of us will always be one.
Well, here we go again, my friends. Our second visit to the Keyblade Graveyard. Or as it pretty much is right here, the Keyblade Graveyard. Unless we count the key as a D. The Kingdom Key D. Yes. But anyway, to sort of talk about the story at this stage, and you're probably starting to get an idea of exactly what my problems with Birth by Sleep are, because in terms of the emotional payoffs, again, I think the emotional payoffs, they hit as hard as they... Okay, I'm trying to get my thoughts in order, but I mean, the emotional aspects of the story I feel hit decently well. Again, they do, you know, have the sort of impact. Again, the emotional stakes are as high as they've ever been, and it does make the final boss fights all the more tragic when you realize what happens to these characters. The problem is that the setup and the pacing of the storyline, I feel, just kind of undercuts it here. Because, I mean, I've alluded to this ever since the start of Aqua's story, in the sense that, again, her character's story arc, the thing was basically, again, she got the role of Keyblade Master, apparently it went to her head, didn't exactly see this, but it was said, and therefore it happened. And a lot of her role was basically mimicking Eraqus's hatred against the darkness and, you know, people who utilize it, and pretty much just going on the warpath, following orders, slaying the Unverse, cleaning up Ventus and Terra's messes. And when it comes to anything else, really, Aqua was primarily kept far and away from any of the events happening, so it feels like that she doesn't really get most of the emotional story arc centering around her specifically, but rather in reaction to other characters, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because this does eventually lead to her getting her own little emotional story arc crux of her own, right towards the end of the game and through to Kingdom Hearts 3. But at the same time, though, it's also just very... It just means that Aqua is far away from a lot of the more, you know, from like a lot of dramatic moments that really sort of influence her character, which, I don't know. I mean, it's obvious that there was a plan in place to continue the storyline beyond. It's just that I feel like the setup's just, I don't know, the setup just wasn't quite as well built as I think it could have been. And I realise that that's a very sort of garbled way of getting my thoughts out on this, but I don't know, that's about the best I can manage at this stage. Anyway, this is Goofy's D-Link. You do still have magical powers, but look at this fucking shit! Oh my god, I mean, I know the finisher is basically a less powerful version of a Fartmosphere from Ventus, but just seeing Aqua pretty much perform a fucking the Goofy rocket that you see in Kingdom Hearts 2, oh, it's fucking amazing. And if you don't have Goofy's D-Link upgraded to a significant degree, it's also a case where his D-Link has Aqua perform the Goofy spin, which I kind of wish I showed off, but no, I figured the Goofy tornado was funny enough. And there is actually another D-Link that I'm also going to be showing off as we go through these tornadoes. Yeah, the tornado segment is pretty much D-Links galore. Seeing the power of our friends. But yeah, putting that aside, we also have Pete's D-Link, which if you want to know how to get that, access the command board while in deep space. Don't do it in the Mirage Arena, because that's pretty much its own separate thing. Do it in deep space, access the command board, and get either Captain Justice or Captain Dark. I'm pretty sure it's Captain Dark, although I might be misremembering some of the details, but anyway, get Captain Dark, regardless of whether or not it's used against you or by another player. And by the time you get that done, you pretty much get Pete's D-Link, from which you can use a bunch of his abilities. And his finisher is... oh my fucking god. What the fuck am I looking at? Ugh, Jesus Christ. Yes, your finisher is pretty much accessing Pete's go-kart and just fucking driving around. I don't know why it's so funny just seeing Kingdom Hearts characters drive like regular-ass fucking cars and vehicles. It's just the contrast that makes it so funny. And I figured it was probably best utilized with Aqua as opposed to oh, okay, actually, you know what, maybe Terra would work as well, because he's also a bit of a serious guy. I don't know, it's just the idea of like this dead serious, you know, Keyblade wielder, you know, utilizing her knowledge and power for good, with the strict dedication to her magic arts, and just seeing her fuck around and drive a car is just... it's a contrast that really makes comedy thrive. But anyway, just putting everything else aside in terms of anything else specifically. I'm sorry, I'm just distracted by the finishing move. Whee! Oh fuck, I forgot my tangent. Oh yeah, he also has victory pose. Can't remember what that does, and... yeah, my brain has turned to mush. God, what am I gonna be like by the time we get to fucking Terror Story? I'm gonna be fucking... my brain is gonna be turned to cheese. Anyway, what I edited out there was basically just checking stats and doing fucking pish. I don't think there's... as Aqua, I don't think there's a way to outrun the tornadoes, which is part of the reason why I'm going through them all to fight everything. Ventus can technically escape if you use Super Glide. Terra, if you're really lucky, he can technically outmaneuver the tornadoes via the slide ability that he gets, but... yeah, Aqua only really has a cartwheel to her name, and that's not quite fast enough to outrun a tornado, if we're pretty much doing this by 1996 Twister movie logic, but... fuck it, I guess. Oh, I should have upgraded Stitch's D-Link, but... them's the breaks, I suppose. Thunder. I think I might have brought this up before, but I do wonder if the spell Mini would actually revert these enemies back to normal size. Oh well. I really thought I would have had more to say about this part of the game, but no. And again, to sort of go back on a previous topic in the sense that Aqua not really having a lot of personal agency in the story compared to Terra and Ventus. The thing of it is, though, and again, it's only because we haven't really gotten to that point where Aqua does start to get personal agency. I don't think that's necessarily bad writing, it's just that it means that Aqua as a character just doesn't come across as very fleshed out as in fact she should be, and I mean, we do get elements of this. Again, like, we see her femininity in the, you know, Cinderella world and the fucking Olympus Coliseum, so we have elements of it here and there, and we do also show a lot of Ericus' teachings imprinted on her. It's just that I feel like the game should have taken itself a little bit more to dividends to sort of establish a bit more setup. Like with some of the flashbacks as we saw, you know, characters training or, you know, Aqua, Terra, and Ventus hanging out as friends. I feel like more scenes of that would have helped, because again, there was those sorts of scenes in Kingdom Hearts 1 that really helped to establish who Sora, Riku, and Kairi really were. You know, how they interacted with each other, how they reacted to others. And as such, it gave them a lot of strong personality to really leave an imprint in the player, whereas Birth by Sleep... it feels a desperate need to sort of get the plot moving into sort of retcon in elements to sort of change the backstory of Kingdom Hearts 1 with the whole Xehanort plot, which... again, it feels like it needed a lot more games to tell its backstory, which probably was why Nomura was so gung-ho about, you know, not mobile games, spin-offs at this point. Well, okay, sort of, considering Dark Road and Union Cross, but more specifically to do with the fact that, you know, there was a lot more story to tell, needed more games to tell it. But the fact that they didn't really start, you know, with the true beginning in Birth by Sleep, I feel was a bit of a failure on that part, because Kingdom Hearts 1 is, if you equate it to Star Wars terms, you know, Kingdom Hearts 1 is Episode 4. What should be the Phantom Menace for the Kingdom Hearts series is, well, I suppose technically Union Cross, which makes Birth by Sleep Episode 3, if we count Kingdom Hearts Dark Road as Episode 2? I'm not even beginning to realize when, you know, stuff like Missing Link or anything else takes place. The Kingdom Hearts equivalent of the Clone Wars TV series? If that's canon-ish thing? Brain shutting down? Again, it's a bit of a mess, and I think you're starting to see why a lot of audiences started to pretty much tune out of Kingdom Hearts, because of a lot of... I'm not going to say that it's a lot of homework, because again, especially in recent years, the series has gone out of its way to bundle everything into little collections, sans the mobile stuff like Union Cross and Dark Road. But at the same time, though, it's the sort of thing that is going to require, again, if you're really full in love with this series, you got a lot of content to sink your teeth into, and a lot of worthwhile stories that'll be told. But at the same time, though, there is also the factor that it is also asking a lot from the audience's time, and it... admittedly, this is a point where Kingdom Hearts does start diving into elements where it is asking a lot from people. I mean, a lot of people call Dream Drop Distance the point where the you know, where the series jumped the shark, some say Kingdom Hearts 2, but to be completely honest, though, I think Birth by Sleep is probably the beginning of where the series had quite a few bad habits that did sort of impact the rest of the series going forward. Yeah, I mean, elements that might have been there as early as, you know, Chain of Memories and Kingdom Hearts 2 just became gradually exacerbated over time, and, Well, I mean, there's been varying degrees of trying to improve upon it here and there. Anyway, that was Zack's D-Link, trying to show off our friends, and the date that he and Aqua will never have. More giant heartless, more stuff. Who's our friend this time? It is Mortimer, the evil of the Mickey. Anyway, I probably didn't bring this up before, or maybe I did, but yeah, if you fully upgrade Mickey's D-Link, he actually gives you a double XP for the time that you're using him, which can admittedly be a little bit useful if you're just grinding on the fly, although personally I still recommend my strategy that... I can't recall if I showed it off beforehand in Ventus' story, or if I'm possibly going to... No, I would have had to have shown it off in Ventus' story. Basically the reactor core and radiant garden, you know, the area where we fought Trinity armor, go back in there, equip a few mega flares, grind that for a bit, wash, rinse, repeat, and you're pretty much golden for your grinding needs. I mean, granted, it is still a wee bit tedious, but, you know, it's about the most comfortable way to grind for enemies. In fact, I think you can. Because I think if you go back to the Keyblade Graveyard after this point, I don't think the tornadoes respawn, so... I mean, if you're thinking about going to the last level of the game to grind for the most XP, I don't think you're technically going to be getting it here, but... then again, I could be completely wrong on that, because, I mean, by this point, whenever I'm playing Birth by Sleep, which is admittedly not as often as some other games in the franchise, I'm pretty much tired, I'm knackered, I'm pretty much just looking to fight the final boss and fuck off, really. But anyway, that's all we have for this part, so on that note, I'm Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and next time on the Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep commentary, we finish Aqua's story.